Oh wait, is there sound now? Guys, can you hear me? Can you hear us, chat?
It's a delay. Can you hear me as well?
Let's see. I think I turned on my sound on OBS, so it should be working.
Okay. See if they hear us both.
Can you hear it? Can you hear us? Do you hear us well, or do you hear us very poorly? You hear us. Okay, phenomenal. Sorry
Nice.
sorry about the silliness.
You hear poorly.
This is our first time actually doing a live stream in the guild, so it's very nice to see the familiar faces of Marco, Rayla, and Wilhelm. Let's see.
Should like put it out. Oh wait, it's not
I'm
like an
crazy
event.
quiet. Let me see if I bring up. Is it better? Is it better up here, guys? Can you hear me? Can you hear us properly now?
Do you hear me good too?
Oh my god, your input is very low. I'm gonna check and make sure that I have the right. I should have the right. Yeah, I should have the right input now. Right.
Okay, is Yodrick super quiet? Then
I
not me.
I am specifically super quiet. That I don't know why. That doesn't make much sense to me. But I'll look into it. It might be that I'm just not talking loud enough. Flum, you might need to turn down my volume. I think I should. Oh shit, that is way too much. Is this better, guys? Okay, fantastic. So
for me, it's like the same as it was before.
Yeah, it has to do with the. It has to do with. Are you actually getting on the server, by the way, Flum? We don't actually have to be on the server.
Yeah, I'm on 160 in queue.
It's because of the.
So you know.
Can you guys also hear the music in the background, by the way?
Hope it's copyright-free music.
I mean, it's Minecraft music, and we're on Minecraft, so they can't really. What are they gonna do? Stop us? Right. Before we actually before we actually are getting into the reading, we actually have a few things we're doing. We want to kind of talk, or at least I want to bring up. So, firstly, a lot of you might have seen what we're doing on doing the. You know, when we're doing. Why don't you do a stage 2? I can read what you're saying in there, so it's fine. As you can see, we've been working on the spire a bit, getting a few houses down. We are currently planning out. Let me see what YouTube Studio is freaking out about. Is it actually the music? No,
I mean, it is copyrighted music, is it?
No, what it is, it has to do with. Yeah, the stream is really slow, apparently. Let me see if I can change that. Whatever.
We're so good at this.
Yeah, totally. So we've been working a bit on that, and we're still accepting help to build with this. Can't hop online with stream open. Yeah, that's fair. But the reason why we're doing it like this is because we need to get used to this kind of content as well. Anyway, we also have. We had this debate. We have the upcoming debate next week as well, but that that we'll work on that as we usually do. We had this idea by Arkanaf. I'm not sure if he's in chat right now. Arkanaf suggested we do an event. Let's see what specifically he wrote. Can I? Let's see. In the spirit of like philosophy and debate, having like a grand court case debate where people from all over Stoneworks can join, with a small cash prize like 10 to 20k for whoever can defend their side/point the best, while accounting for everyone else that it might be cool, like a RP civil court case or something. No, not sure what the details. So we might do something like that. Thank you. Okay. Whatever the case, let's actually. So we might do something like that. And finally, there was something else I was thinking. Right. All of you probably know that we are currently Buck versus KFC, so okay, it's gonna be fun. We are currently working on a YouTube video, as many of you might know. We are finishing recording tomorrow, and then we will be editing it for a while. It should come out sometime at the end of March. Anyway, without further ado, we should get into reading some papers. So, what I'm thinking is we're gonna start with the formal system for recipe documentation, because I know we have some brewers in chat right now. So I think this could be very interesting. So this paper won the stipend 2 months ago.
Is it Askeladd's?
Yeah, it's Askeladd's paper, which is it's a paper which kind of changes how brewing is done, compared to not how brewing is done, but brewing with how papers in brewing works, like how you write down recipes, basically. So this is the formal system for recipe documentation. So let us read. In this concept paper, I will be describing my proposal for a system of writing recipes. I recognize that it isn't necessary to change our current way of writing recipes, and it goes without saying that not everyone interested in the art of brewing should start using the system. However, I think it's well suited for those who wish to engage with brewing at a more specialized or scholarly level. I will recommend this change only to those people. To begin with, currently the basic format for a recipe is following: name of the potion, ingredients, ingredient A, ingredient B, cook time, which is the amount of minutes. We're losing some content in the compression of the images here, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Distills, wood, which is the wood type, age, and the effects. Now, there's no problem with this kind of arrangement. However, this appears to be more of a normal cooking recipe, like that for a cake, rather than one for something as intricate as a potion. It is simply not enough for the immersion of a brewer. To combat this, I propose a system that reflects the qualities of a potion, such as the intricacy of it. So, the basics. Firstly, it is essential to understand that every recipe, in essence, is an alchemical reaction. Additionally, we can divide a reaction into reactants and products. Lastly, the reactants of a reaction can vary in the amount needed to create a product. From all of these observations, we can conclude that the basic formula for an alchemical reaction should look like this: XA plus YB equals AB. There are a number of problems with this format as it stands right now. For starters, there is no way of knowing the amount of cooking time. Let's put a variable for amount of needed, which is delta T. To add this information to our new format, we need to simply write it into the reaction, since the duration of a reaction is also a part of the progress. So as we can see here, we have XA plus YB goes into AB after a reaction time. We can also, so that is kind of what he's doing here. However, this is not, I know this isn't the final one he went for. So this kind of format could work for a few drinks, the ones that don't require any further processing of the ingredients other than cooking. However, this reaction cannot wow, I can't read. This reaction alone cannot be used to describe how to make any alcoholic potion or any potion that has distillation in its recipe. So here we have alcohols, which also includes in Stonework. Now I'll admit I haven't done much brewing. I don't think you've done any brewing either, Flum.
No, I don't know how it works at all. I know there's a system to like get it clues and figure out recipes and stuff, but I have done nothing.
Got it. So alcohols are a separate case because these potions are more often than not. These potions more often than not have additional steps like distillation and aging to their process, making writing them down as a single reaction impossible. There's a way around this issue. However, one could write them as multiple reactions. To start, every alcoholic drink's recipe starts the same way as any traditional brew. Therefore, the reaction format stays the same. Although there is a difference, the product of this first reaction is not the desired one, rather simply what we need to move on to the second reaction, which can be one of the two following types: distillation and aging. So the distillation is a reaction. A distillation reaction only needs to take place when there are impurities in the products of the first reaction. Hence, we can conclude that the reaction will have an additional unwanted product. There's no way of knowing what this product is, and it is not of any relevance. I am for impurities. So as you can see here, we have the formula as before, which gives us the product plus the impurities after the distillation, right? The distillation reaction or second reaction, therefore, should only be applied when there's an impurity product to separate from the product needed for aging or from the desired product, since there are alcohols that we don't need a third reaction to be produced. To continue, some recipes may require the second reaction to happen more than once. Thus, we should indicate the exact number of distillations, or the symbol here for the amount of distillations that need to take place, which is N, which needs to take place in the distillation reaction. So as you can see here, after this, we put that into this formula here, which is the product plus impurities, and then distillation and amounts of times of distillation, which gives us the product without the impurities. I also added this to indicate that this is in fact a distillation reaction, not to be confused with the first reaction, due to the fact that the distillation reaction might not be the final reaction. Specifically for those cases, the product shall not be as AB, but rather AB this, to show that the product has only been distilled but not yet aged. I was made aware of this issue by my friend Yodrik. That's me. So apparently I did something good for this paper. Love that. So we have here with this basically the same one, but added with a this there to show that it isn't a completed product, but it is getting there. So whoops, my bad. So next up we have the aging process. Now the aging process, I'm gonna let you read this, Flum, if you wanna.
Yes. Hold on. I need to actually open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
Where is it? It's not the Monfic table, is it?
No, it's the This is so. The stream is so slow. It's slow right now. Sorry guys about that. I really can't do anything about it. Not that I know.
Oh, the formal system. There we go. Okay.
Does Wilhelm asked, does watching this count as me reading the paper? I still got 20 to go before I have read them all. I don't count it as reading the paper, but I would count it as, you know, listening to it, process? I guess. Yeah, aging is on one of the pages.
There it is. Okay. I need to just make this bigger. The
Like...
aging reaction, or third reaction, is also crucial to recipes for alcoholic drinks, such as wines. This reaction occurs when we insert into a barrel the product of the second or first reaction and wait until it has properly aged. In reality, this aging process is oxidation, meaning a reaction with oxygen. The reason why it needs to take place in a barrel is because this process needs to be slow. Fast oxidation of wine or other spirits could lead to spoilage and vinegar-like taste, which is undesirable. Hence, why time matters a lot in this reaction. Therefore, we need a variable for it, similar to the one in the first reaction. And then some triangle TA thing.
That's delta T.
Delta T. Oh yeah. Now that we have established what happens in an aging reaction, we need to insert these observations into a general formula. AB plus oxygen equals AB oxygen.
Yeah, so we can see here...
divided by delta T.
Well, not divided by delta T. So you can see here, this is the aging, right? So AB plus oxygen, and the aging time becomes the... and I guess this would be an oxidized version of the thing. You can continue.
These observations are not enough to describe everything a conventional recipe can, however. Something I neglected to mention is that the aging process for many potions needs to take place in a barrel made of a specific material. Therefore, we need yet another variable. Wood. Yeah, wood type. Okay.
Yeah.
This variable is meant to show the wood type of the barrel in which the third reaction can take place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can see the we can see the aging
AB
process here once again with the wood type added on top of it.
Yeah. So AB, which is the alcohol or the alcohol plus oxygen in a specific barrel over a specific time of specific amount of time, becomes oxidized alcohol.
Yeah.
Nice. It is also notable that if the recipe requires a distillation reaction before the aging reaction, then instead of AB in the reactants, there should be an AB dis in parentheses.
Yeah, which is the
distillation.
A distilled product plus oxygen, then going through the wood type and the aging time gives us that product there.
Yeah. So, the next page, the new ways. At this point, we can describe the recipe for any potion using this system. Let's look at a couple of examples of recipes. In parentheses, recipes taken from the bartender's Discord public recipe channel. Recipe 1, Daniel's Strength. Honeycomb block, HB, experience bottle, EB, first reaction. So 2 honeycomb blocks plus 5 experience bottles. 2 minutes aging process becomes...
this is just the first reaction. This is not the aging.
Oh yeah. Oh, the next.
And it becomes Hebeb.
Hebeb.
Yeah.
And then it becomes Hebebo.
Hebebo2. Yeah, after the aging reaction, which we can see here, the wood type. We can see what wood type it would be, plus the age
wood
being. I'm not sure if it requires a specific wood type in a barrel. As you can see, it is to be aged. It is supposed to be 2 years.
Yeah.
Aging time.
Mm.
Go on.
Then no. Hababoo is the final product, Daniel's strength potion. Note that the third reaction doesn't always have to be the third reaction in the order of operations. Recipe 2, Russian vodka, potatoes,
Yeah.
whatever that symbol is.
That's just a P.
Okay. Oh, it's a P. It
Yeah.
looks weird.
But the P for potato.
Yeah. 10 potatoes. 5 in 15 minutes becomes P plus IM.
Yeah. So it's the first reaction.
Or 1M.
No, that's IM. So it's P plus impurity.
Oh yeah. Distillation reaction, second reaction. P is the final product, Russian vodka. So P plus impurities distill for 3 minutes.
I think it's 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes. I think he just missed writing that out.
And we published it.
Yeah, this is why we do quality checks on our. Even if we can miss things though, which is kind of silly, but it happens. Can't blame us for that.
Yeah.
You can, but please
becomes. So Russian vodka is symbolized by P in this case.
Yep.
But potatoes is also P.
Right. Where am I getting pinged? Jara say. Oh,
weird.
Well, I don't give a shit about that. Distilling is how many times you do it. No, so
why is Rayla talking to us through
because that's how she will make us notice. No, the free here, the distillation. Oh no, you are right. You are absolutely right. That is on us. Our bad.
Oh, it's distilled 3 times.
Right. Yeah, I believe, Wilhelm, that Russian vodka is public. I'm pretty sure. I'm not entirely sure, though. But I think
that's what they claim in this text, at least.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep going. Oh, the Monfic table. Let's see. After reviewing this paper, a friend in Dazed point out to me that we require some form of categorization for everything that exists, so that reactions can be understood by everyone without the need for clarification on what P or HB means. Additionally, creating a system of categorization would add to the material one has to learn to fully adopt the formal system, thus making it harder for beginners. For this reason, I have attempted to make the categorization process as simple as possible. However, that is not what I am personally worried about. What is truly difficult to get used to is understanding what block or item each title represents. The Monfic table consists of titles. Each title represents a block or an item and indicates different characteristics that the block or item has. Here is the structure of the title that represents a block. I define a block as something that can be placed. X, Y, Ma, where X is the first 2 letters of the wood for the material that the block is made out of. Y indicates whether a block is full. So is that a 7?
That's an F, I believe. So
F.
F, okay. NF means non-full, or an item is IT. But that is a separate case. The 2 variables inside the parenthesis are also called the characteristics of the block. X is the material characteristics and Y is the form characteristics. Lastly, NA is the first 2 letters of the word for the block, or the first letter of the first and second word if the block's name has more than 1 word, example stone block. And here is the structure of any title which represents an item. I define an item as something that cannot be placed. Z, Y, NA, where Z is the first two letters of the word for the shape of the item, also known as the shape characteristics, and Y is the form characteristic, but only if Y equals IT, which is item. The NA is the first two letters of the I feel like this is kind of just repeating what the last one is. Yeah, I think he just accidentally...
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, so this is for items, this one is for blocks up here. The first one is for blocks, the second one is for items. Got it. I would like to clarify that the shape characteristics has to literally equal to the first two letters of the word. That they're reporting to the bartending guild. Yeah, let's do that. I would like to clarify that the shape characteristics has to literally equal the first two letters of the word for the shape. For example, a pickaxe is pickaxe shaped. A sword is sword shaped. Something like an ender pearl, however, is spherical. In other words, items that don't have specific shape are shaped the way they are defined. A pickaxe can only be that shape, otherwise it is not a pickaxe. I mean, yeah, I do kind of agree with this. I don't think anyone ever puts a pickaxe in a brew, but I mean, tell me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah, I'm wrong. Okay, crazy.
No, just kidding.
Additionally,
I actually don't know.
Additionally, for aesthetic purposes, and to better distinguish between a block of gold and a block of diamond, so the rule is that we should take the first letter of the first and second word. The names would be BO in both titles. To remedy this, every block that is named block of should be changed to this format: block, example, block of gold, gold block. To continue, it is clear that every such block would be a full block, and their material would be in their very title and name. A gold block is made of gold. I want to point out. I kind of want to. I will point out that putting a gold block is dot dot dot. This is called a. I believe there's a word for this. Let me actually give me a second while I actually look this up. It is called a. I think it's discourse particles, which isn't something this is something I didn't catch, I think, but it isn't something you would typically put. It isn't something you would typically put in an academic writing, as it is considered filler, and usually in usually in academic writing we try to keep it formal. We try to keep it as something that which just kind of goes straight to the point. This doesn't necessarily have to be the case for any publication, but as this is an academic proposition, maybe we should have probably caught that and told them to change it. We can't really do that now since it's already published, but it's still a good paper.
And it's won a stipend.
It won a stipend, yes.
Yeah.
But you can still win a stipend for something that is kind of in that style. It really depends on what you're going for.
Yeah.
Like I write a lot of argumentative pieces rather than I don't write than academical pieces. So you're more likely to find me using a freer language because I'm trying to convince people rather than educate people. Anyway, lastly, for things like flowers or leaves, which are blocks according to the definition, to clear any possible confusion, we shall say that they are made out of organic material, and their material characteristic should be OM. Examples for items where Y equals IT: wooden pickaxe, PIITWP, and a pearl, SPITEP, Blaze Rod CYITBT or BR. Now, wait, I'll continue reading it and I'll get my critique. It should be noted that using this process of categorizing blocks and items could create a table of titles categorized by their form, shape, and material. However, I personally will not undertake that task. So something that kinda gets to me is the fact that these titles becomes very long, right? So let's say to visualize the Mumphic table and the format, I will write the recipe for dark chocolate liquor. So as you can see here, we have 4DI IT.
Yeah.
SCO. So plus, I'm not really sure what this would be. I'm guessing this is cocoa beans. But then again, that would be organic. And then we have 4SPITCB plus 4OMNFBL plus A. So as you can see, this becomes very confusing very quickly. I think you can probably do this system a bit better. Yeah, actually, here we have. So this is 4 cookies, 4 cocoa beans, 4 blue flowers, 8 wheat seeds, and it becomes this kind of a very long thing.
Yeah, but isn't this just how it looks in with real life chemistry?
Not really.
Basically.
So typically, the addition of the shapes things in parentheses can be a bit confusing for people who aren't really into the whole chemical thing. The idea is that you should probably make it as easy for people to understand it as possible, I'd say. Now, this would actually require a proper periodic table for all the potion ingredients you can find on Stoneworks, which I believe there is an official list for this. You can probably look that up. And that would probably need its own table, probably. And it would probably be made... that would probably be made easier and make these reactions, maybe not this part, but definitely this part, a bit shorter and easier to understand. That's kind of the only critique I have of that part. And yeah, so that is his full paper. No, wait, he has 3 more pages. But I'm kind of curious what you guys think about the structuring what you guys in chat think about the structuring here. Maybe I should also read the in-depth.
How many people in chat right now?
Currently I believe there are 3 people.
Way.
Yeah.
We're pulling real big Kaizenat numbers.
Yeah, crazy, right? I'm not actually sure who is actually here in chat with us. We have I know we have Rayla. I know we have Wilhelm. I'm guessing maybe. I'm guessing Marco is still there, but oh well. Kind of what do you guys think? Because I think the system is really good, and I think it probably could make brewing much more interesting. In fact, we were thinking of getting a copy of this in game and putting it in the brewery in the Spire just to make it more exciting for players, right? And a lot of I think a lot of people can find it very interesting as a thing to I think it's like a code to decipher, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it plays into the role of esoteric information and these cool traditions. So it certainly creates some mystical or cool aspects to it, like you said. But I'm not really worried too much about the critique you gave us. It's not to that it's like very hard to read for new players that really don't know these codes yet. But I feel like the people that are gonna read this are the people that are interested in it, because it's a very niched subject. So I don't think that will be a problem.
I get that is a fair assessment. Also, Rayla, I understand what the paper is saying. It's saying, don't worry. It is more so the longer having longer descriptions of things can be a bit confusing. Yeah, there are recipe riddles, and those recipe riddles are also come up in blacksmithing for custom weapons. Yeah, no, I fully get that, Rayla, don't worry. But the thing I'm kind of is talking about is this brewing system, this formal system. It needs to be I think it needs to be a bit simplified to make it accessible, but that's just. I also get the idea that it is because it's a niche thing, it's more it's not as like big of a deal. However, what I would like to kind of point out is that it being a niche thing, it should also be somewhat accessible. That's why there are also, public. No, I think this is a good system. As I said, it's a good system, Rayla. The thing I'm critiquing is the notation of like shape and all of that becoming these. If we look here, that 4 cookies, 4 cocoa beans, 4 flowers, and 8 seeds turns into a very long piece for every single one of these. So that's kind of what I am critiquing here. I'm not critiquing the system itself, because the system itself is very good. What I'm critiquing is the notation of ingredients needs to be better and easier to understand, is what I'd say. Which would probably require its own table of elements or whichever, like a periodic system or something. Which, if you want to work on that, pop off. I think that would be really cool to see. See, the stream is slow again.
I have a suggestion for the next one to read.
Yeah. I think, which one do you want to read? We're gonna move on, I think, because we've gone through.
I want to read a mock publication.
Yeah, the only mock publication we have, Hypotheses of the Nature of Fanboys by our very own.
I don't know if I've actually read it.
So, I've read this. The question is, should we read this? I think what we should do is we should.
Is it too spicy?
Wait, is this your? Wait, who is your getter? I've seen you in Stoney's streams. Yes, PD is based. Yeah, I know. I kind of want to go into these. I would like to go into these ones that are. Who is pinging me? Please don't ping me during stream. So the question is, should we go into one of these that we have in one of these ones that we have tickets open for, so we can actually read through them? Because I know Peak Pepper wanted us to read to get his paper read.
On stream.
Yeah, I think that would be good. So if you can open the.
Yeah, but has he?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
If it's gonna get published anyway, it's gonna get read eventually. Right.
That's true.
So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna.
Let's see. Which ticket is it? Which number?
Yeah. This is I believe it's ticket 30. It's ticket 30. So
30. Okay.
The only thing I can kind of go into here straight away, what I kind of want to point out is, so we have. I'm gonna switch count. We have certain guild. For probably all of you who know,
this
who
is
are
long.
here, probably know that we have. It's not that long. How long is it? It's 12 pages.
12 pages.
That's not too bad. 12 pages is pretty short. But I'm gonna bring this up real quick because we have our publication standards here, and these are surprisingly not very well known. So I'm just gonna bring them up real quick. So for formatting, we have a few formatting things. For one, I will say this is pretty well formatted aside from the line adjustment, which is supposed to be justified, which is when it goes from side to side, so it goes like straight line here, straight line here. But I think we should just get into it, actually. So this is on permanent reserve as the foundation of national military sovereignty. The reserve theory by Peak Pepper, military observer, student of our... This is so many titles, man.
Examiner of structural warfare systems and the political economy of conflicts.
42 et prudentia vincunt anno domini 2026. That is long, man.
Very prestigious. Very cool.
Very prestigious, yeah. I don't think I put any of my titles in my... I just put my name. This is a cool little sigil. I'm not really sure what this is for. So we're going to start with the preface here.
P for philosophy.
P for philosophy. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to see here. Preface. This treatise is a single falsifiable claim that a state can permanently reduce its dependence on contracted military labor by maintaining a standing corps of soldiers recruiting outside the mercenary market, paid weekly at rates above that market, and bound by exclusive institutional loyalty. That's a lot of big words.
A long sentence.
It is a very long sentence, which I would suggest if you're reading it. This is something I'll suggest to anyone who wants to write anything here. If you are writing something, read it out loud, and if you feel that it's either dragging on or you have to catch your breath in the middle of the sentence, it is probably too long.
Yeah.
No hate to the...
I like to, if a sentence takes up, like, in this case, three and a little bit of the fourth row, then you might want to throw in a full stop somewhere.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't have
to. It just makes it into an easier reading experience.
Yeah.
And that's kind of. I guess the Inferno here. Can you not hear us? Oh well. So we're gonna continue here. Let's see. This is called reserve theory. It is not a general theory of war. It addresses one structural problem, which is the current mercenary dominance, and proposes one structural solution. The argument draws on Clausewitz's theory of moral forces and friction, Jomini's principles of interior lines and concentration, and the counter-insurgency literature of Kit Collin and Galula, whose models for building loyal irregular forces among populations with competing allegiances translate directly to the problem of building a loyal military corps in a market flooded with rival employers.
Oh my god. Okay.
What he's saying a lot, don't get me wrong. He actually includes a lot of info. He could, however, kind of make it a bit more bite-sized, is what I would say.
Yeah, because that was a very long...
It is a very long sentence, right?
Without any punctuation.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not questioning it's not pandering or meandering in any way. It's just the punctuation is...
Yeah. I mean, punctuation is correct. Don't get me wrong. The punctuation is completely correct.
Yeah.
The problem is that you need to divide longer sentences into something that is easier to digest. The longer a sentence becomes, unless you're very purposefully making the sentence long to like evoke a certain like feeling or a certain importance to something, then you can do it. But in this case, it becomes a bit wordy. Let's see. The treatise is organized into 3 books. Book 1 defines the mercenary as a strategic phenomenon and quantifies the structural disadvantages he imposes on states that depend on him. Book 2 develops the reserve theory in full, its logic, payment model, recruitment conditions, and institutional design. And here we can see he's actually getting a bit more... He's getting a bit shorter in it, which I think is good. Book 3 addresses employment, how the reserve is activated, how it is used tactically against hired forces, and what outcomes to expect when the model is executed correctly. So I think that I'd say that is here at the end. He really, once again, this is a preface. We don't get much info from the preface itself. It is more so what we would usually want from a preface is, I'd say, we would usually want a proper thesis which states what everything will be about. There are 3 different books, so these ones might actually define themselves in themselves, right? Which is like its own thing. However, what we are kind of getting here is it says a lot of things that we can't really tie to. We can tie kind of to what is going to happen, but we can't really from the preface kind of get. We want usually from a preface we want to get an idea of like what can we expect. If we take for instance 2 develops the reserve theory in full, its logic, payment model, recruitment conditions, and institutional design. If we go back here, actually, this treatise advances.
This is called the reserve theory. It is not a general theory of war. It addresses one structural problems, which is current mercenary dominance, and proposes one structural solution. That is quite clear.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Let's see. The book one on now. Usually what I like to see when you make headings is that you make the headings a different bigger size. Some people will tell you to make these bold. You don't have to. It really depends on size. If you're making like, let's say your text is let's say you have text size 12, which is the guild standard. What I think, and then you go for, let's say you want to then do a, hold on, let me see if my YouTube is my live stream is actually okay. So what we usually want here is then maybe this should be size 16 or either size 16 or bold, probably not both, but definitely like one or the other. Furthermore, we'll move on now to the writing itself. But book 1 on the nature of the hired force and its structural costs. 1. Defining the mercenary in strategic terms. A mercenary is not defined by payment. Every soldier receives payment. The mercenary is defined by the contingency of his loyalty. He serves a state that employs him only as long as the financial conditions of that employment hold, and he is available simultaneously or sequentially any rival who outbids us. Once again, here we kind of run into this being a bit long. If we take here, the mercenary is defined as a contingency of his loyalty. He serves a state that employs him as long as the financial conditions of that employment hold, and he is available simultaneously or sequentially to any rival who outbids it. Now, I'm a big fan of writing as simple as possible. There are a lot of complicated words being used here, which you can do, don't mind you. But if you want your if you want your paper to be understood by as many people as possible, it would be preferable for you to actually make it in very simple language. A way to write this instead would be like the mercenary is defined by you could cut this out and straight away go for a mercenary is defined as serving a state which exclusively for pay, right? That could be, you could shorten it down.
Unless the intention is to like add nuance to it for some reason.
I mean, so because with a normal soldier, we can also assume a certain amount of like national loyalty or coercion or whatever. Mercenaries, on the other hand, are exclusively loyal to employers, right? Now they might have their own like
to the money.
Yeah, exactly. They might have their own like honorable codes of like, oh, maybe they don't break a contract even if somebody outbids them. There is some nuance to it, but their main loyalty is to monetary gain at the end of the day, since they are freelance warriors essentially. So,
yeah,
bringing the way this is written out, it becomes like, I'm gonna be real. I don't know what the word sequentially means. Forming or following a logical order of sequence. So that is kind of, this is where we get this is what I'm gonna call this. We talked about a certain other type of filler earlier in writing, and I'm gonna call this big brain filler, where you put in a lot of big words to fill out the page and reach a word count while simultaneously sounding slightly pretentious.
Intellectual Botox.
Yes, thank you. Intellectual Botox. That is actually great. That's really good. Clausewitz identified the distinction between moral forces, will, loyalty, and cohesion as purely material ones as central to military analysis. Let's see here. There's a 1 here, which means we can scroll down and... oh boy, he missed the footnote. Oh well. So, once again, I'm gonna be annoying. We actually have standards for our citations, which this should go in the footnote, which would go on the bottom of the page. However, he seems to have missed that, so I'm not really sure. Oh, it went down here. I'm gonna bring that up with him later. The mercenary, by structural definition, brings high material capability and negligible moral... Sorry, my Discord is messing with me. Let's see. Let's see. The mercenary, by structural definition, brings high material capability and a negligible moral force as a function of political commitment. He brings skill. He does not bring investment in the outcome. I mean, I disagree to a certain point. Negligible moral force. I think is my voice still very quiet, guys? Do I need to be
No.
do I need to be even louder on the stream? There's something with my OBS that kind of messes with my microphone input, and I'm not entirely sure why. I am using the proper inputs. Let me just switch between that and something else. Maybe it's better now. I'm not entirely sure. Let me... because I can't crank the... I don't think I can crank the volume more. Maybe I can. Is that better? Because usually this isn't... I swear this isn't usually a problem. I'm so funny. Everybody laugh.
That's what he said.
Ha 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 ha. Anyway, let's see here. The idea that a mercenary doesn't bring investment in the outcome, I don't really believe in that, because there is still a matter of pride in victory, right? Like, especially on Stoneworks, people will flex like crazy if they win, and then they'll be really salty if they lose.
I mean, I lack the experience to comment on that, but sure, it sounds reasonable. But what does he mean by that? Like,
so
I lost it now.
So the way what it says is
text.
He does not bring investment in the outcome. It means that he is not invested in it. Basically, he's
okay.
The mercenary doesn't care.
Mercenaries are fighting.
Yeah, the mercenary doesn't care about the outcome. It is basically just they want to get their money.
Okay. Well, I mean, they have a reputation to uphold as well. They need to win.
Exactly.
Otherwise, they won't get hired anymore.
Completely agree. And so there is more to it. There is also the idea that they don't bring a negligible moral force. We can have a whole debate on is the mercenary just like an immoral part of it, which I wouldn't argue it is, because there's so much nuance going into it, like terms of employment, terms of how does this actually affect the like people in the nation, how does it affect the outcome of the war, will these mercenaries be more or less like cruel, if we say it like that, towards the population that they are going in for, because they might not have the same rules that a standing army has, which means they can have a either detrimental or positive moral outcome on a conflict, so I'm not really on board with any of this.
Yeah, I mean, I get his point, but I don't think, from my perspective, it's not as thought out, because it makes sense on the surface level, but life is a bit more nuanced. And yeah. I mean, everything every conflict on the server has like these micro reactions and micro dramas and like stuff that can just spiral into other things. So when you add like foreign people to an army, you have to firstly make sure that they get along with you and your people, and not bring any drama there. And then you also have to think like, is this a just band of racist xenophobes that we hired, and that doesn't like look good on us either.
Yeah.
If you hire an army to fight your wars and they go around shouting the N-word and stuff.
Yeah. So, we can also make the argument that a lot of Stoneworks PvPers have a reputation of being kind of yikes, you know. And I don't necessarily think that is like. I don't necessarily.
They're drawn to violence.
I know a lot of. I do know quite a few PvPers, and most of them are pretty damn chill. So I wouldn't say it's fully accurate. It's kind of this like PvPer versus RPer discourse that we see on Stoneworks, which is so stupid in my opinion. It's like very much like a false dichotomy, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's pretty much the only competitive aspect of the server, and where you have competitive people, you'll always have like some assholes.
Yeah, that's true. We're gonna go on, now. He mentions this Jomini's framework is equally applicable. He argued that the decisive... This stream is going pretty well. Hey, Sky. Thank you for dropping in. I'm pretty sure I'm getting killed in Minecraft, but that doesn't matter. I don't have.
I'm now at place 101 in queue.
Fire. He argued that that decisive advantage in war belongs to the force capable of concentrated action to a critical point. Yeah. That is, I would agree.
Wait, where are we right now, so I can catch
We
up?
are still on first page after Jomini's framework. A force that may be, let's see, the hired force is incapable of reliable concentration because its presence at any given moment is conditional on contract terms, not on the state's strategic needs. Once again, that kind of requires some nuance. Once again, there are people who very much pride themselves on upholding contracts, and those people will, of course, be reliable. Especially if you have seen before or seen others mention them as reliable people. So it really, I think it really depends.
I think you don't get very far on Stoneworks by alienating and screwing people over either, because that really, it's all about reputation on Stoneworks. It's all what Discord is. It's just a big networking thing.
In a way, yeah. A force that may be unavailable at the decisive moment because its employer could not meet payment or because a rival offered more is not a strategic instrument. It is liability dressed as an asset. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I would say so. But if you are I will say, if you are employing mercs, make sure you have the money for it. That is just basic.
Yeah.
That is just basic.
Otherwise, you're gonna get ward. Or something.
Yeah, it is also in, I would argue, it is also in a mercenary's interest of sticking to a contract, as they are more likely to be hired then.
Yeah.
Let's see.
In that case, I think you should pay your mercenaries half up front and half after, so both sides are incentivized.
Yeah. War is not merely an act of policy. This is a quote, by the way. War is not merely an act of policy, but a true political instrument. A continuation of political intercourse carried on with other means. Clausewitz on War, Book 1, Chapter 1. Yeah. Next here we have 2. The market trap. Why defendants self-perpetuates. The structural problem is not that mercenaries exist. It is that there should be a comma here. It is so that once a state enters the mercenary market, irrational incentives prevent it from leaving. The dynamic is identical to the prisoner's dilemma. If state A hires mercenaries and state B does not, state B is militarily disadvantaged. This is true in a way, but it kind of goes against what he himself has said, as he claims having mercenaries to be a liability rather than an asset. So it is there's kind of I'm nitpicking now. But still. If both states hire, neither gains relative advantage, but both incur the political and financial cost of mercenary dependence. The dominant individual strategy, regardless of what the rival does, produces a collectively suboptimal outcome. A region in which military capacity is entirely a function of purchasing power, national military institutions are atrophied, and every sovereign is partially vassal to the market from which its fighters are drawn. Yeah, I would say so. It is essentially.
It's very archaic.
Archaic? I wouldn't say it's archaic.
I mean, not archaic, but modernly archaic, if you get what I mean.
I'm not.
It's
sure.
like what's.
Okay, explain kind of what you're getting at with that.
No, I'm just like how the it's very, very formal writing. It's like overly formal writing.
I mean, this is
to the point it gives me like an archaic vibe, even though it's not like because it's.
This is, however, how you're supposed to write. This is actually a perfect example, kind of how you're supposed to write, scientific writings. However, as I want to state again, the author has kind of a bad tendency of word vomiting, big words, which kind of makes it a heavier read than it actually has to be. But the point he's making is good, though. He isn't wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with it being written this way, actually, at all. I'm just like pointing out the vibe it's giving me. It's not meant as a critique in any way.
Yeah. Quantifying the cost of mercy, and this is actually something I'm gonna point out. This is actually something you would learn in many like English or Swedish or whatever you're reading, like high school, where you kind of learn to adapt. You kind of have to learn to adapt your paper after your intended audience, right? So depending on who you're trying to, let's say we had this Sherwist paper on architecture submitted to us. We never ended up publishing it because the author stopped responding to us, which is kind of unfortunate because it was very well written. However, it assumed that the people who would read it were of like a socialist or like a socialist political standing and education. So a lot of the words, like for instance the way metaphysics or metaphysical was used it's more of a Marxist sense rather than the very typical philosophical sense of what you would define metaphysics as, which isn't bad, but it will confuse the shit out of anyone who is like into the
because I didn't know there was like there is a specific like Marxist way to use that word.
Well, so because there is
or relating to Marxism.
Yeah, because the way usually I think Marxist thought kind of mentions metaphysics as not a waste of time, but something that is not relevant to the way we live, as it's an immaterial thing that distracts from the real world, right? Which I don't agree with, of course, but that is so when you have that in the paper, it was kind of used in a way that is more towards that and more with that understanding, and I think that's probably fairly common among Sherwists, just based on the fact that it is Sherwism is basically Minecraft communism, right? So you will get some of those ideas coming through in those papers, which isn't bad. Don't mind you. That it is just.
I mean, when you're writing,
it's kind of the understanding of where that comes from.
This subject, yeah.
Yeah, it was
when
you
write a paper on the subject, you're gonna have that influence.
Yeah,
I guess.
I will say it was a paper. It was a paper on what was it? A paper on Sherwist, the application of socialist and Sherwist thought in architecture. So it was a bit confusing to see when metaphysics was mentioned the first time in the paper. I was like, this is a bit weird to include, but I get why it's included. But it also ended up becoming a not very standard view of it, so that's kind of it. So it was clearly aimed at fellow like Sherwists and people who are like that, who have that like view or have that political stance. But it's not aimed at a broader audience as the broader guild audience, as not. I don't think most guild members are of socialist thought, but I digress. There are some that I know are, which they might read that paper and be like, no, this is absolutely right. They got it down to the like they really got it down properly. They got everything right. It might be that I'm a normie as well, you know?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if it was aimed at fellow Shericists, then I guess there's nothing wrong with, like, presuming the reader's knowledge on the subject.
I do entirely agree with that. I am the glob. What did you write there? Glab. Thank you, Skyven, for your crazy wisdom, man. That's awesome. Let's see. So, quantifying the cost of mercenary dependence, the financial cost of the mercenary model can be expressed simply. Let CM be the total of mercenary cost campaign engagement. The cost is CM equals, in parentheses, math. It is this thing right here for you people, for everyone watching. Where N is the number of fighters hired, PM is the per fighter market price, bidder driven volatile, E is the equipment provisioned by the employer, and R is the replacement cost for when fighters are lost or withdraw. Because PM is determined by...
Okay.
Yeah, so basically it is all the, like... It is all the logistical... It is the cost of...
Expenditures of a war, basically.
Yeah, basically. It's just the logistical
Or a
cost.
mercenary campaign. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Because PM is determined by the open market, the employer exercises no control over it. During periods of heightened conflict across stoneworks, PM rises for all buyers simultaneously, and the state with fewer accumulated resources is priced out at precisely the moment it needs military capacity most. I would like to see some backing of this. I'm not sure.
It would be nice, but I think it's hard to...
It is hard, but there is kind of a burden of, what would you say, a burden of proof, not really the proper use of that word, but or that statement. But there is a bit of a burden when you're writing something, that if you make a sweeping statement that you back it up. Otherwise, this is kind of just a... This reads as... This is my opinion. He speaks with... like, he writes with authority,
which is fine, because... Yeah, because I don't think it's necessarily needed in this point. It would strengthen the case, but I don't think it's needed, strictly. However, I also think it's very hard to find that, like, to find statistics from the server, unless you do like a survey yourself or something, which would be cool.
This is where I want to kind of shout out Wilhelm, because I know he is very good at, like, doing surveys on things.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll just have to rely on this person's experience, I guess.
Which of course, depending on who it is, depending on who it is. If we look here, he, because he has, you can see he's a student of the Avarian War College of Operational Arts and Military Theory. So you can say that is a, that is kind of a thing that can back it up. However, once again, I'm gonna be a bit annoying and say, that is kinda something that still is preferable to still back up, because usually I think I'm not sure. Was it? Is Sky? Are you still in the chat? We'll have to wait for a bit because of the stream lag. I'm not sure if she's still in there. It was either Sky or... I don't think it was Sky, actually. It might have been... You can only hear me in your left ear. That is kind of... Oh, wait. Have I put on... Wait, give me a second. Have I put on...
In mono.
I wonder if there is... If I put on... if I accidentally have... If the sound mixer is a bit weird. Give me a second while I look at that. Oh, it's not set to mono. Is that better? Is that better, Inferno? Can you hear me in both your ears now? Let me bring up my decibel counts in the... Is this better? We'll have to wait for the response once again because my stream is a bit slow. Let's see. You'll have to forgive me for my... Okay, great. Basically, so what it was that I had it set on stereo. So, yeah, that'll be it. Go read Arcanics now. I think we should move on, yeah. We can go check out Arcanics. What I kind of want to see... What I was going to bring up with Sky... I think it was... it might actually have been Ari that I think it was Ari I told to like back up statements, and she actually did. Big up to Ari, she's a great writer.
I will say it's 10 minutes. In 10 minutes we have gone for 1.5 hours and I need to get going.
Yes, so let's go through the Arcanic
Almanac. We should wrap
and...
up this page.
Yeah, I think we should do Arcanic Almanac and then we can live our own lives after this. So, because I'm pretty sure we have a fighting here in chat.
Oh, that's another paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Arcanic Almanac, it was written by Fighting Flames, or resident madman, or mad scientist.
Let's see. Okay, it's pretty short.
Yeah, it is pretty short. I think he's working on a longer, or not a longer version, but like more like works on it, which I think is
expansion.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Like for other parts of it, this is more the I think this is the introduction to it that explains how the system itself works, and then other papers will be I think other papers will be more extensive on smaller pieces. Yeah, the first volume this is the first volume of the Almanac. As fighting say.
How did I go up to 152 in a queue?
Queue bypass is my guess.
Okay.
Get queue bypass. It's very true.
Let me read this one. So.
Yeah, you can go ahead and read it.
Nature of Wooly. Yeah, Wooly. Wooly is a Paxian word roughly translated to the whole. In Arcanics, Wooly is used to describe the immaterium and the materium as a whole. The immaterium and the materium exist entirely as opposites, both reliant on the other. The materium consists of Markovians areas where things do exist. Yeah. Markovians functions as the utmost layer of existence, regardless of any realms, dimensions, planes, spheres, layers, or any other term you wish to use. Markovians are finite in their size, albeit immeasurably large. The quantity of Markovians is unknown. The immaterium comprises nothing. The immaterium is the non-existence that exists only in contrast to the materium's existence. The immaterium structures.
Hey, Grunk.
The immaterium structure, should it have one, as well as its contents, should it have any, are wholly unknown, with one exception: magic. The immaterium is the home of magic as well as its origin and destination. When magic enters the materium, it now exists and because it is in contrast to the materium. The easiest way to understand this is with the fishbowl theorem. While widely regarded as true, it can never be proved with 100% certainty. The fishbowl theorem goes as follows. Imagine a glass fishbowl containing only water. Two materials exist: glass, which is only present in the fishbowl structure, and water, which only exists inside the fishbowl. Now, a bubble is present in the fishbowl. There are no materials that the bubble could compromise, as it is separate from the water as well as the bowl. As such, there must be something making up the bubble. The fishbowl theorem states in simpler terms that magic is only what we know as magic when it is in the materium.
Yeah, up here we have a diagram of this. Actually, we have systems where we have it divided up into materium and the immaterium. The materium being where the things are, the immaterium being where there aren't things. Within the materium, we have the
space and matter.
No, immaterium is non-existence. In a sense, I guess.
So it's not which is space.
Yep.
The concept of space.
Well, not really. Not really. Space technically is something that exists. So it is a strange.
Well, yeah, nothing does exist. Like nothingness exists, I guess, which the materium exists, but as it says, only in contrast to the materium, which is the case for space. Because you have to have nothingness in order to have everything.
So we can see here what Fighting wrote in chat. The immaterium is hard to understand because it doesn't have space.
Okay.
Which is a bit of a confusion. Which is
concept of nothingness.
No, it is like nothingness. Technically, let's see here. A good example would be how the shape with free spatial dimensions, it can't exist. Yeah. So within the materiums we have Markovians, and that is divided into the esoterica and the planes. Within the planes we have orbits. Within the orbits we have Aether, and then we have what is that in the middle there? I can't really read that.
It's planes. It's all the orbits, Aether, and then Abexilus. Ether.
It's Abexilus. Okay.
Esoterica is okay. That's cool. Well, so then materium is just everything that exists, including nothingness.
Right. Yeah.
And immaterium is everything that doesn't exist, and it only exists as a word that stands in contrast to the materium.
Basically. Materium.
But magic comes from the immaterium.
Yeah.
Is what it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, materium, planes, planar basics. Planes are the largest organized layer of the materium. Planes are organized and sort existence by number of spatial dimensions it has. The diagram here shows only up to 4 spatial dimensions. However, the materium possesses an infinite number of planes. The only plane we possess 100% empirical evidence for is the plane in which we reside, that being the third plane. The second plane can be implied to exist due to the fact that we are within the third plane, which, yeah, that is kind of logical. It is kind of logical, and you can also just say like the fact that there you can like take a paper and write on it could also be a good demonstration of the second plane. I'd argue, but I might be reading that wrong.
I mean, it has 2 dimensions. It's up and down, and then left and right.
Yeah. Let's see. We can create visual things in 2D spatial dimensions. This logic can be used to argue that the first and zeroth planes exist as well. The number of planes that exist is unknown, and if greater than 3 of them, it is believed to be infinite. Due to this factor, it can be assumed that the Markovian in which we reside has a number of spatial dimensions equal to either the number of spatial dimensions in the highest plane, or one greater than the number of spatial dimensions in the highest plane. It is theorized that each plane is a shape with its own number of spatial planes, so the third plane may be a cube or a sphere, while the second may be a square or a circle. And then, good luck visualizing anything above that, because I don't think the human mind can kind of comprehend that.
No, yeah.
Because it's so big. Anyway,
I think we can barely comprehend 4D, basically.
Yeah, exactly. We don't even know if 4D actually implies that one of the parts of the plane is time. That is just a theory. And some scientists disagree with that entirely.
Yeah, I think these are supposed to be dimensions of space and not time.
Right.
But let's see here.
Planar
where
arrangement.
were we?
Planar arrangement is the one we're going into.
Yeah. The arrangement of the planes is complicated. Is a complicated topic that boils down to figuring out the size of Markovians. The best way of understanding planes and their arrangement is with paper and jars. Imagine you take a piece of paper and draw 3 squares upon it. In the first square, draw a small pebble. In the second place, a small pebble in it. Draw a small pebble. In the second place, a small pebble in it. Okay, and for the last one, cut out the square and place the jar beneath it. The first square fully contains the drawing. The drawing has 2 dimensions of x and y, both of which are completely blocked off by the square. The second square, however, cannot contain the pebble. The pebble possesses 3 dimensions, only 2 of which the square can contain. Lastly, for the third, place the same pebble into it. The pebble falls into the jar now fully containing the pebble with all 3 dimensions. When this logic is applied to planar arrangement, it requires that whatever shape all the planes are arranged within must have a number of spatial dimensions equal or greater than the number of spatial dimensions contained within the highest plane.
I quite appreciate this he includes experiments that you yourself can do to visualize things.
Yeah.
Which is of course, I don't know. That is something I haven't seen a Stoneworks player do, so that's quite interesting. Quite like that. Interplanar movement. The idea of moving between planes is by logical means impossible. Since the shape all planes are arranged within must have a number of spatial dimensions equal to or greater than the highest plane, which is more likely greater than 3. Traversing it would require we move on more than 3 dimensions. Even if we could move on more than 3 dimensions, the issue becomes navigation. Our means of navigating, notably our eyes, see things within 3 dimensions. The navigation of interplanar space is impossible by all conventional means. Okay. Very clear.
Yeah.
Very, very clear and let's see here. Yeah. We have orbits.
Orbit
next.
basics. Orbits acts as single as a single name for the larger separations of existence, which are all within their own plane. Orbits are also known as realms, dimensions, planes, when it's a non-arcanical in a non-arcanical context, heavenly spheres, or any other name given to them. Orbits usually contain primarily empty space known as aether. Within this aether, there are several layers. The chart here displays the structure of our orbits. Most orbits contain many worlds and immense amounts of aether within them. Most orbits usually consist of very consistent and uniform contents. However, usually they are mixed so thoroughly and spread through such a large area that it is only easy to tell the patterns in their materials from a very wide viewpoint.
Orbits. Orbits are a special variety of orbit which violates the typical rules of orbits explained above. Orbits typically violate those rules in one of two ways. The first being primarily one material which is mixed thoroughly with many other materials. With the second, aether basically means outer space. Okay, got it. Thank you, Fighting. With the second being their size. Orbits are designated being unique due to their extraordinary rare nature. Orbits typically contain one solar system or planet. Orbits take the unique name with a form of designation, number of spatial dimensions, unique numerical. This chart is okay. So if you want to actually find the proper charts, it's the lower chart here, I assume. It's on the Arcanics wiki if you want to check out the updated version, apparently, according to Fighting. The following table shows all designations for orbits, as well as explaining the types of orbits. So once again, we can go through this one, but it will be, if you want the actual up-to-date one, check out the wiki. Fehu, the rune is F, or the... Are these, this is just
Futhark.
This is just Futhark. Yep.
Yeah.
Fehu means that the orbit is a single planet that is devoid of life. Urus means that the orbit is a single planet that contains life. Jera means it's not used at all. Okay. This one isn't used at all. I'm just gonna read it anyway because it's interesting to me. I'm gonna read it anyway because to me it's interesting. So, single solar system that has no life. Nothis, it means the orbit has a single solar system that has life. Dagas means the orbit is a single galaxy. Ophala means that the orbit is a single galaxy cluster. Ewas means that the orbit is one universe. Once again, that is out of apparently it has been adjusted and isn't used anymore, but I still think it's interesting and worth going into. We also have Manus, which means the orbit is composed of at the most one universe cluster. Ophala is the rarest designation of an orbit. Ophala means the orbit contains sentient life, where a majority of sentient beings could be classified. As a class 1 deity, or where an orbit possesses deep connections to other planes, as well as the materium. Where's my music? Okay. The only known example of an Ophala class orbit is Paxia. And finally, we have Esoterica, which I'll let you read.
Esoterica is the disorganized part of our Markovian, comprising about 57.632% of it. Esoterica has no planes, orbits, or any form of organization. Esoterica is commonly regarded as chaos. The formation of Esoterica is a topic which is not clearly understood. Similar to the organized half of our Markovian, some small parts of Esoterica have similar contents, though these parts are extraordinarily small.
when compared to Esoterica as a whole, these parts truly are about
700 billion?
Yes, 700 billion times larger than a Bexilus.
Got it. Very interesting. Very interesting. Is there more? I think that is the entire thing. Oh, Spotify is messing with me. Definitely, I think
Esoterics means that which is.
When was this? When was this? I'm gonna be real. I think this was published last month. No, it was published. No, it was published this month. I don't know. I'm gonna consider this as an interesting possibility for the stipend. Yeah, small spoiler that I think I might nominate this one personally.
I like it too.
It's very interesting. It is very well written. He doesn't fighting doesn't
very clear.
He's very clear. He doesn't meander on words. He doesn't throw in unnecessarily hard words, and all the words that you don't understand, he very thoroughly explains so that you are supposed to be able to get it. It is a very clear, a very developed system, and I would like to see more of this in the future, and I would like to see what other people might contribute to it, because I think fighting intends this to be a relatively open system where other people can contribute or do their own like experiments within Arcanix, if I recall correctly.
Just wait until there's a Tyrian reality beneath the spire. All the science discoveries will make.
Definitely. I'm quite interested in this. I think it will be very cool to see further works from him on this.
Yeah.
So we definitely in the future this will it's meant as a root like tomatoes growing on a stick. Got it. So I definitely in the future this will be very interesting to see more of this. All right. I think should we just does anybody here have any like guild questions like in chats? There aren't many people, but if you have like any guild questions, we'll answer. Otherwise, we'll round it up here, and yeah, it's also meant to be compatible with up to 85% of lore. Yeah. So yeah, any questions then? About guild stuff, or papers, or anything.
Or personal questions.
Yeah, do you want to know about Flum's crippling addiction to Apex Legends? Is that something people are interested in?
Yeah, if that were the case, I would have been a bit better at it. I hope.
Thank you for the lectures. Yeah, anytime. The thing is, we kind of want to do this more, and maybe in the future we'll do streams that are. How will the city work exactly? So the city will have. Let me bring up the document we actually have, because we do have a city district guild. The city will be divided into several districts, which will be. The city is supposed to be functional, not just aesthetic. So we will have stores. We will have an academic district where we do academic stuff. We will have administration districts where we actually have the jobs that we kind of have in the guild already, such as transcribers. If you want to do transcription work, just make a ticket and we'll get you started. There will also be missions where other nations kind of can set up quote-unquote embassies. Not really embassies, because they won't own that particular land, but it will be a direct contact for nations that we work closely with to the guild. We will also have facilities for city storage and everything. Typical city stuff. Set up districts for like garrison, and have entertainment districts, so we can actually have like some fun stuff like theaters and stuff. Because I was contacted by Marco about doing a play, which I think would be kind of fun. I don't have the time to work on that kind of stuff right now, but definitely in the future that is a possibility. But
ooh, a Stoneworks play.
Yeah, I think that could be interesting. Now, any registered guild member will be able to live here. I think we won't get so many. I don't think we will get so many citizens that we have to do like apartments. We will probably do that everyone can have like their own house, because it is a 720 chunk claim, so we have quite a lot of space. Did that answer your questions, Skyven? When I'm going to win a stipend. Fighting, if your paper is the best one in March, you will win the stipend. That is how that works. Stipends are given out at the 25th, or around the 25th. It's not always, sometimes I'm very fast on it. We accept
and by best we mean whatever we like. We vote on it as leaders. So
yeah. Let's see here.
It can be many different things,
yeah,
like if it's unique, or if it's very well written, or if it's if it's very influential.
Exactly. It really depends on we do not have any set parameters for the stipends. Will you accept to make courses and lectures within other institutions in the quality of Guildmaster, or do you plan on acting only in the guild? Do you mean me specifically, or do you mean as a guild? Because we already work. A lot of our guild members already do courses at the Trask Institute, which we have been partnered with since they started up. I might do a course on on kind of what we've been doing this stream with, writing and making proper publications that are, I might do like a scientific writing course basically. As a guild, we do it. We do a lot via the Trask Institute. If you want to do courses and lectures, I suggest going to them. They are an official partner of us. So if you would do a course there, or if you are part of a course there or teach a course there, that will also go towards your guild rank, because we have a leveling system, and some of it requires learning or teaching, and we will, if you do any of those at the Trask Institute, we consider that as doing it for us as well. Methodology, it's not entirely methodology, because it goes into more methodology. When we talk about methodology within philosophy specifically, we talk about approaches. Scientific writing is a form of methodology, but doesn't go into methodology fully, because methodology is a very broad field. Let's see. Because a city has these diplomatic missions things, is it like a city-state or autonomous province? The guild city is entirely just a autonomous. It is kind of a city-state, but we're not actually a nation. It's more so like an oil rig basically that is owned by a company.
Yeah, we are the embassy.
Kind of, in a way, yeah. So we are not really. So we aren't really a nation, and that's why you won't see us on any maps. We might get ourselves on a map just because to have our presence there, but we aren't a nation.
We're on the live map.
We are on the we are on the live map. That is true. Any other questions?
Can I go?
All right, I think we're gonna need to round up this.
So
yeah, we're gonna round up the stream now. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for all the questions, and we really hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you guys in voice chat sometime, probably.
Thank you, thank you. Arigato.